Hi there, my name is Marty Owings, and today I'm going to paint this birch tree scene using a graphite wash pencil, a water brush, and a little bit of watercolor. Subscribers and viewers seem to enjoy the graphite wash picture I did of the pine tree, and I posted that last week. It's still up on the channel if you want to go take a look at it. But a few of the reminders I had in there, I just want to keep consistent here. So start with light marks, light pencil marks, because they're easier to correct. Figure out where your light is coming from early on, and then draw accordingly. So if the shadow's on the left, you want to do harder lines on the left side, because you're eventually going to wash this with this Pentel water brush or whatever water brush you have, or just a regular brush and water. And you can see that the dark side of the tree here is really highlighted with the washes you're putting on here. Don't worry about how dark they are initially, because this dries a lot lighter than it goes on. So you'll notice initially that it goes on very dark, but after a minute or two, it dries to a much lighter tone. So don't panic if it seems a little dark to you. But also don't go crazy with the graphite pencil so that everything is black to the left of the tree or on the dark side or shadow side of the tree. Don't worry about being too fine in here. You won't need to do that initially on this first pass anyway. You're just really blocking in the shadow side of the trees. And again, the branches are going to get more complex as you go up in the tree versus down in the tree. So don't put too many branches on the bottom initially. Just wait that out and kind of observationally, go out, take a look at some trees, or use some photo reference to get an idea of where those branches are situated. Because a lot of times, as you go lower in the tree, you'll find fewer branches, but they'll tend to be heavier. So they're more mature branches. They've been on the tree longer, things like that. So those are some things to look for and some cues when you're out looking at trees of various types. Now, birch trees have some uniqueness to them in that they grow very straight, usually like pines. They're kind of straight up. And there's different kinds of birch, river birch and other types of birch. So you don't have to get to know all the different types of birch trees, but it's just a good idea compositionally to know, and good to remember that there will be more branches as you go upward in the tree, usually, and fewer branches down below. Those lower branches, though, will be a bit more mature, so they tend to be a bit heavier on most trees. Here I'm going to start to put in a little bit more detail on the branches. As you can see, I've added a little bit more detail. And just as you go out and look at trees or you try to draw them, just remember as the branches go upward, as I said before, they get a lot more complicated. So this looks like a big complicated map or a traffic pattern or some kind of crazy thing. But in truth, the trees those are kind of new branches towards the top, and they're just reaching for light. That's what they do. And so once you get that kind of down and you have a certain randomness to your pattern of drawing those branches, it'll look more real to the eye because they do go in crazy directions. So here I'm going to use some ultramarine paint. This is watercolor paint, and it's the only color I'll add to this particular painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to paint between some of the darker parts of the branch so I don't pick up a ton of the graphite wash underneath. But don't worry if you do, because it's really easy to just dab that with a paper towel or piece of tissue and pick up that heavy darkness. And it also adds a nice cloud effect in the background. So don't be afraid to use a little bit of tissue or a paper towel to clean that up in the background, and you'll be good to go. Sometimes when you do that, you'll notice that when you're putting on the paint, it's going to dry obviously lighter than it is when it's going down. So just keep that in mind. Here I'll use a Uniball 153 white pen, or you could use some titanium white gouache if you like. If this painting were bigger, I'd probably use that gouache a little bit more, but since this is a small painting, I can get a little bit finer detail using this pen here. So it's a really nice pen, and lots of artists use it, so it works well, and I like it. So anyway, I'll sign this painting and make a few last minute adjustments, I guess, or refinements to this using the gel pen and my water-soluble pencil. and then that'll be it. Well, thanks for coming by today, and I hope you enjoyed painting. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions or experience with this type of painting. I'd be happy to hear from you. So long for now. This has been Marty for owingsart.com.